Hello everyone, I am going to discuss the topic that is unpaid sellers right on the topic that is now today we are discussing, that is the buyer's rights against the seller, because in last two videos I have discussed about the unpaid sellers rights against the goods as well as against the buyer, but without discussing the topic of the buyer's rights against the unpaid seller, your topic will not be completed, because these are the rights are available under Sale of Goods Act on the point or on the topic that is unpaid sellers. Now, before going to start with my topic, I'm requesting you, all of you, please subscribe to my channel who is new to it, and please share it also, and like my videos also. So now let's begin with the topic now, that the buyer's rights against the unpaid sellers are of the following, that is the section 57 I am discussing, that is suit for damages for non-delivery. Now, where the seller wrongfully neglects or refuses to deliver the goods to the buyer may sue the seller for damages for non-delivery. So he can, of course, the buyer can file a suit against the seller on the ground of non-delivery. Now, the remedy, what the buyer will get it if they will file a suit on the ground of non-delivery, now we were discussing. So the damages are assessed in accordance with the rules contained in section 73 of the Indian Contract Act. That is, the measure of damages shall be the estimated loss directly and naturally resulting from the breach of contract or from the seller's breach of contract. Now, damages will be estimated according to the section 73 of the Indian Contract Act, and thus damage suit, that is the loss suffered by the buyer, should cause directly and naturally from the breach of contract of the seller. So ground of the breach of contract is made on the ground of non-delivery. It should cause directly from the events or the subject matter of your contract of sale. Now, if the goods in question have a ready market, the measure of damages is prima facie to be ascertained by the difference between the contract price and market price on the date of breach. Now, this is the question here. The goods in question, that means goods which are the subject matter of the contract of sale. It is prima facie, we can ascertain it, that the damages has caused to it, and that is, we can see it, the market price at that point of time of the damage caused to the buyer. Then we can estimate the damages which will be buyer getting it. That is that we have to make a difference between contract price at the time of making of the contract and at the time of the buyer is holding the position of the goods. That time the market price is what? That difference we are going to get here compensations from the seller on the ground of breach of contract. Now here we can have one illustrations which can make it more clear on the law provisions on section 57. Now we will see what is the illustrations here. Now, A having contracted with B. So A made a contract with B to supply B with 1000 tons of iron at rupees 100 a ton to be delivered at a stated time. So A made a contract with B, said I will deliver 1000 tons of iron which will be costing around 100 rupees a ton, and I will be delivered you at a time you are mentioning in the contract. So contracts with C, that is why A has contract with C for purchase of 1000 tons of iron at a rupees 80 a ton, and telling C that he does so for the purpose. Now, because A has to supply 1000 tons of iron at the rupees 100, and that's why he has entered into a contract with C to purchase the 1000 tons of iron he will purchase, and that he is getting it at rupees 80 per ton, and he tells to C that he is doing it. Why he is doing it, that is also he has told C, and he said that I am doing it, and for performing the his contract with B, he has already told also explaining to C that I am going to make a contract with B. C fails to perform his contract with A, who cannot procure other iron, and B on consequence rescinds the contract. Now here C has refused to or fails to perform his contract. That means he has not made a supply of 1000 tons to A at rupees 80. Then as a result, as a consequence, B, what he has done, he has rescinded the contract. That means he has cancelled the contract. Because C must pay to E then that time rupees to 20,000, making the profit which A would have made by the performance of his contract with B. Because the compensation he is asking, because he wanted to sold it by 100 at tons, and that is 1000 tons of iron to be supplied to B. That is why that time the market price was higher. So that's why he can ask from C, that is A can ask from because C has to pay, because he has failed to perform the contract. And A will get how much rupees? 20,000. At that time of the market price was higher. Now second remedy is that, or second rights of the buyer against the unpaid seller is suit for specific performance. Section 58. This is very important. The first right we say, that is on non-delivery you can file a suit for damages, and second one, you should insist the seller for perform the contract. It's very important also. And section 58 says that where there is a breach of contract, for sale of specific or ascertained goods, the buyer may file a suit for the specific performance of the contract. So question arises here, section 58 says, where there is a breach of contract for the sale of specific or ascertained goods. He has specifically made and ascertained goods, he also said that, but there is a breach of contract, because the buyer may file a suit for the specific performance of the contract. So he specifically made that, and he has ascertained number of the goods. He says, I want this kind of a goods. Then it is ascertained and specific also. Even though in spite of this also there is a breach of contract. So what he can do is, the buyer can file a suit for specific performance of the contract. That means buyer can say that I have made an every clarity on the sale of contract of the sale of goods. Then why you have refused to, or why you have neglected to give the delivery of the goods? You are breaking the contract. Now I want a remedy to perform the contract. I don't want a compensation, but I am asking you or insisting you to perform the contract. So this remedy is discretionary and will only be granted when damages would not be an adequate remedy. So it is a discretionary. The power is there on the court. Court can give or may not give, and it will be granted when the remedy by way of compensation is not adequate, which is not going to satisfy it, that remedy. Then of course the court will go for that is a order for the specific performance of the contract. For example, the subject matter of the contract is rare goods, that is a picture by a dead painter. So when the contract is there, the subject matter which is for a rare goods, it's a very rare goods and it is not available anywhere else, and that is why that rare goods is a picture made by a dead painter. So which is an artist, he is already died, and that painting is a rare, you will not get anywhere. So that's why you should insist it, you give me only the performance of the contract. That means you give me the paintings, not any other things I want. Remedy you can give me as a compensation, I do not ask for you, because that is not sufficient. And the third right is available of the buyer against the seller is suit for damages for breach of warranty. That is section 59 says breach of warranty. Now where there is a breach of warranty by the seller, or where the buyer elects or is compelled to treat breach of contract as breach of warranty, the buyer is entitled to file a suit for damages if the price has already been paid. But if the buyer has not yet paid the price, he may ask the seller for a reasonable reduction in price. So I will explain this point very carefully. It says, section 59 says, where there is a breach of warranty, there is a breach of warranty is there. That means which is a secondary to the subject matter of the contract of sale. It is a secondary or subsidiary to it. Warranty is always subsidiary to it by the seller, or where the buyer elects, buyer has chosen or compelled to treat breach of condition as breach of warranty. He himself, the buyer himself, will say that I will treat the condition as a breach of warranty, I will take it as a secondary and a subsidiary one. Then that time, what is his remedy is available to the buyer is entitled to file a suit for damages. He can ask only the damages because it is a subsidiary to the contract of sale of goods. That is why. If the price has already been paid, if the buyer has already paid the price, then he can ask for a compensation. But if the buyer has not yet paid the price, if suppose buyer has not paid the price, he may ask the seller for a reasonable reduction in price. So if he has not paid the price, then he can ask the seller that only I will pay the price, but you make it that price as a reasonable one, which I can pay it at a time. So this is the third rights of the buyer against the seller. Now fourth right is there, suit for rescission of contract and and for damages for breach of condition. Rescission of contract means cancellation of the contract, and he can also ask for a breach of condition. So the breach of condition entitles the buyer to treat the contract as repudiated. As we know, which is main purpose of the contract. Stipulation is the main purpose of the contract, and that time the remedy is always available to the buyer is you can treat the contract as cancel. You can cancel it. So accordingly, where there is a breach of condition by the seller, so condition has been broke by the seller, then buyer is entitled to file a suit for rescission of the contract. So when the main stipulation is broke by the seller, then buyer can ask for a cancellation of the contract. Also, he may claim damages for loss suffered on the footing that the whole contract is broken and the seller is guilty of non-delivery. He can also ask for the damages because he has suffering from a loss, and because whole contract he has cancelled it, broke it, and a seller is, he'll be guilty for non-delivery. So this is his fourth right of the buyer against the seller. Now what is the last right of the buyer against the seller? That is suit for recovery of the price together with interest. Section 61 says that if the buyer has already paid the price of the goods to the seller and the goods are not delivered, then he may. Now question arises that buyer has already paid the price of the goods to the seller and the goods are not delivered, then seller has not delivered the goods to the buyer, then they are stolen out because somebody has already stolen the property. Then he can sue the seller for refund of the price. So of course it was the risk of the seller. Seller has not delivered. That is why from his premises the goods might have stolen. So it was at the risk of the seller. So he is a responsible person. That is why the buyer can ask for the price of the whole price of the goods. He can ask because he has already paid it. So that is called refund. He can ask from the seller. So this is the altogether 5 rights of the buyer against the unpaid seller. So this is a very important rights we have discussed. So by this I have completed the unpaid seller topic. It's a big topic. Without discussing all the rights, your topic will not complete on the unpaid seller. So today's discussions is completing, and this is very, very important rights, because always he knows about the rights against the goods, unpaid seller rights against his goods, but these 2 rights you have never discussed, and that's why I have given the full detailed discussion on it. and it is more than sufficient to attempt your paper very carefully. And if you can go through this video till end, it will help you to write your papers and without losing your single marks on that. If any angle, if they ask you the questions, you can then sure you can clear your papers and scoreable from your part. So till then, keep watching my videos and don't have a knowledge half-hearted. Without watching this video till end, you will not get your ideas about your unpaid sellers altogether, what are their rights are available. So till then, keep watching and see you in my next videos. I'm coming with the documents subtitled to goods and as well as the earnest money, what are that. These are the topic I'm going to discuss, and this is also a very important to be understand and have a knowledge on the part of the unpaid seller as well as the entire Seller Goods Act.